Good morning, everybody, and welcome in to the Farm to Table Show Saturday edition. We are back, sort of, as the title said, and as you can tell, things look a little different this morning. Uh, First, not doing a read in like we normally would, and two, well, I'm in the cab cam today, and Bro's over here hanging out at his location back in the U.S. And we're
In the
back from
studio.
Ozarks Homesteading Expo. Hey, bro.
Yeah, back in my studio, and I got to
Yeah,
tell you, it feels good to be back.
yeah,
And after coming back, and then pretty much not even taking a breath hardly before we were back on the road to Ozarks Homesteading Expo. Now,
right,
um, but once I got up there, one of the things that always happens to us is that you rise to the level of what's right in front of you, and so the
right,
endorphins start to release. You start saying, okay, we're here, we're on the job, we're doing what we got to do, getting the footage. And boy, did we get some good footage this time. And but then when we got back, we always it's like that, you know normally your nerves go up and down and kind of a level, up and down right here. Well, whenever you
right,
go to an event, man, it goes way up. And then, of course, however far that goes up is the same
right.
distance you go back down.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But
And so
well, good
we,
morning in the chat, everybody. We see you starting to pop in there. Lost Monkey, and hey, there's Robbie with Wild Huckleberry, and Rebecca Touched by Yarn, and I see Melly's saying good morning. So
good morning, wifey.
yeah, wifey, yeah. So anyway, glad to have you guys in with us. I know it's gonna be a little different day today, as we were saying earlier, and you know, no real no real topic today. We had a hey, good morning, Joey Bartlett. Good morning. Um, we had a topic, had a thing kind of lined out, and just a lot of events have happened. And as Keith was just explaining, we come from one of those events, and we've been up and we've been working, and 3 4 days of just getting after it, uh, lots of that stuff right there in that cup,
Well,
and then come.
I would say that the final nail in that coffin was the fact when you found out you got to work this weekend, and you've been up since
Yeah,
2:45 this morning, getting
yeah.
toward
That
work.
was,
Right?
yeah. That was the final. Yeah, when I had to learn I had to work today, and yeah, as Keith said, my alarm went off at 2:31 this morning. Got up at about 2:40, and you know, been at it ever since. So yeah, it's yeah, that did it in right there. So, but we said, let's get on. We'll figure something out. As y'all can see, I'm in the cab cam, and yeah, just let's do this. But
I kind
well,
of like
golly,
in the cab cam. What do you guys think?
yeah, well, other than the bouncing going down the road, but but anyway, it's so yeah, a little different today, and that's okay. I mean, we're making it happen. That's the thing. Figuring out a way to come hang out with our peeps. We've been missing you guys. I mean, it was uh, we took that weekend off, and right before Ozarks, and then of course at Ozarks, and we did our live drive, and we popped in here and there, but not the same. Uh, and then really had planned on being back. Wanted to be back in our regular groove today, but just didn't work out that way. But we said, you know what? At least I was. I'm like, I we miss you guys. We miss being in here, and wanted to come in and visit with y'all guys for a little bit and check in and kind of see how y'all been doing. And how are I mean, without, I don't know if we're going there or not, but I guess we might. I mean, been some crazy. This has been a wild week. There's been some terrible, tragic events, and
Yeah,
certainly affected Keith and I very deeply. And so it kind of, it's been a week, and we're uh, But anyway, here we are on a Saturday morning, and the sun's coming up over the, starting to crack the eastern sky there a little bit, and uh, yeah, work always gets in the way. That is a fact.
That's no joke. That's
And yeah,
you know, Ryan and I, we spend a great deal of time, preparing for shows like this, and kind of feels good. I'll be honest with you, to not have to follow a script and just be able to talk off the cuff, and
right,
just be candid about what we say, and
yeah,
of course, it's not always like that because, as anybody who's doing content creation knows, that, you know, you always have to be a slave to algorithms like a hamster on a wheel sometimes trying to figure it out. So, and Ryan and I, frankly, don't really like to be on hamster wheels.
no, it's it's rough to try to balance it all and come up with it, and fighting against the system, the out, trying to figure out the secret sauce, as we like to say, and just sometimes it's like you want to just throw your hands up in the air and yeah, what do you do? Because it just you put a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of energy into doing shows like our normal show, and then these events where we sit down and interview, and we put homework and research into the interviews before we ever, as far as our topics and what we want to. Uh, uh, Melly said, "Thanks for the coffee, babe."
Yeah, you're welcome. I got
Yeah,
mine right alongside hers this morning.
right. But and you put in a lot of work and effort, and we know that y'all that are here with us this morning are, our tablers. We know y'all appreciate it, and we appreciate y'all for being here and supporting us, and looking forward to that. But at the same time, when I say what I say, it has to do with the algorithms. It has to do with the the life on social, and when you put in that kind of energy and effort, and it seems to be that there's no uh, reward, or it's not recognized at the level that you think it deserves, and it it can be a bit challenging, and it gets on us just like it does. I'm sure a lot of you who do content creation, that you had that video, you had that thing that you just knew was going to be was going to go viral, or it was going to be the one, and it just falls, and it just doesn't do it. And but
Well,
we've learned a lot about that in the last period of time, and some
we could
information.
get into a conversation about that, but I think I want to steer it in the direction this morning uh,
Okay,
about,
talk me off the ledge, bro.
I'm, well, I don't know if I'm going to take you very far off the ledge. Some of it may cause you to get back on the ledge, but first of all, I want to send my condolences to the wife and children and family of Charlie Kirk, and everybody
Absolutely.
knows what that is, and we may get into that a little bit later. Um,
Yep.
and as Bro was saying, things happened in this world that affects us, and that was one that I felt
Man.
like that we're kind of a nation in mourning. Now, some people are not in mourning at all, and which is very disturbing, and we could get into that, but I don't really want to talk about that now. But the other thing is that there was good things that happened this week, especially in at the Farm to Table show.
Yep.
We just got back from Ozarks. It was an exciting
Right.
time, and
Absolutely.
later I want to also get into the rendezvous. What the
Yeah.
upcoming event that's coming up. So, uh, but I think what I want to do is just want to talk a little bit about some of the people that we talked to
Oh
at
man. Yeah.
Ozarks, and kind of what the topics were and what you guys got to look forward to coming up. And then
Right.
we kind of can scramble a little bit into why it's so slow coming out. But anyway, um,
Okay.
yeah. So, bro, what was your thoughts about the Ozarks, and is there any particular
Uh,
things that stood out?
as far as Rondo,
No, Ozarks.
or as far as Ozarks, I mean, yeah, Ozarks. Man, So you spend a summer, you spend a good. That's one event because of the gap between events that we spend a lot of time ramping up for, and there's only we usually typically only make 3, 4 events a year like that, and that's certainly one that we went last year. We really enjoyed it, and met. Every time we meet, you know, new people. And good morning, Chris. Uh, and the we meet new people and new experiences. But when we go to an event that's a repeat again, or we've been there, and you come back and there's those connections that you meet, that you come back and they're there again, and you look forward to it,
Yeah.
and it becomes a familial experience. It becomes a long lost buddies experience, you know,
Yeah. So,
and walking in and hey, it's the farm to table guys, and that experience. But you're there, and we met, and like I said, and we'll probably go through a long list of the people that we sat down and spoke with, and new people we met that we didn't know about before. We didn't had never met before, and met through other people. But uh, you know. Getting to sit down with somebody, and I'll just jump right off with getting to sit down with Greg Judy, and get to visit with Greg off camera and on camera, and really find myself very. I didn't know a lot about him, so to find myself very surprised,
yeah.
um, at
So
his knowledge and the direction he would go with things.
yeah.
Um,
So with Greg Judy, a little
yeah,
bit of backstory on that. It was, I don't remember which year it was, but I got his book. I kind of discovered him on YouTube several years back, and he's into regenerative ranching. He and one of the things that really caught my attention, being a person who likes real estate, he thinks outside of the box, and he was one of those guys that resonated with me, but because not only was he using paddocks and what do they call them when they just move them around from paddock to paddock? I forgot. There's a name,
right,
but anyway, that was all very interesting to me how all of that worked. But it was the fact that he didn't have to purchase land in order to grow his cattle or his ranch. He actually leased land that was around him, land that wasn't well taken care of. It needed something like what he was doing there. And so I was
right,
just, that really impressed me with some of the things that he was doing. Well, now I finally get to meet Greg Judy in person, and he's a whole lot different. I would say, I would even say a lot different off camera than on camera. He's
oh
a
yeah,
little reserved on camera, but when
a
you get
little,
a little, not a lot. Now, he gave us some really good content and his perspective on some things. And when we go into these interviews, we like to say, we're not just going to go in there and say, hey, introduce yourself, you tell us a little bit about you, that sort of thing. We generally bring topics. It's like, okay, we're sitting down in front of Greg Judy. This is what I know about the guy. This is the topics that's going on today. And I want to talk about some of the relevant things that's going on in the world today. This is the kind of direction that the Farm to Table likes to go. We don't like to go in blank,
right.
and so it, I know this has happened to you guys before, I'm sure. But when you meet people in this community, you can say, okay, this person is a lot different than what I had imagined. You imagine
Hmm.
somebody that's in a book or whatever as one type of person or something, or they're developing content. To meet them off screen, um, you start to get this feel that we're friends
Yeah,
because we're so like minded. You know,
right.
when I walked away, from that particular interview, I said, I think we just put somebody in the friendship column here.
Right.
Somebody we know. It would be a guy that I feel like I could reach out to if I had a question. You know,
Right.
that sort of kinship. A guy that if I see again, I'm going to be happy to see him. And there's a lot
Right.
of them out there that are like
Oh
that.
yeah.
They're very much just they put their pants on the same way we do.
Right. And that's so true. And I'm going to address chat for a minute. Rebecca, it was good to meet you and Ronald as well. Up at Tin Killer. It's always nice to meet people face to face and off the camera and away from the shows or away from what we're doing. So it was really awesome to meet you as well. And Robbie chimed in. Rotational grazing was what you were
You're
trying
right.
to. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh, and then Lost Monkey said you have to have an agenda.
That's
Um,
exactly
so
right.
uh, you know, and
By the way, what's your name,
you
Lost
know, eh,
Mike? From?
yeah, I got a feeling I got a feeling that's our friend. Is this is this check your pockets and I don't know. I mean,
I, you know, he
I
has
don't
been known
know. It's
to name.
suspicious. Making friends is very important. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Um,
make you my friend, Lost Monkey. What's your name?
yeah.
He said, I'm
uh,
Lost Monkey.
I'm Lost Monkey. I like,
Right.
I mean,
What's your
but
first name?
anyway,
What's your last name? Monkey?
Monkey.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But it is, that is so much of it. I mean, we got given some advice uh, early on, I guess you might say, or early in our time with the homestead community, you know,
Yeah.
which was about building relationships, and that has, in so many ways, that has served us. Yeah, oops, I got caught.
Nah,
uh,
not good.
but uh, it has served us
Good.
well, you know, to make the relationships, because long after long after we turn the camera off, long after we turn YouTube off, long after we turn those things off, you know, if this experiment, if this journey of Farm to Table Show, the channel were to end, you know, and that to me is more important sub numbers or monster algorithms or anything like that.
Yeah.
Uh, and you know, and
Yeah, you're right,
so you know,
Robbie. You're right about making friends on YouTube. I mean, if nothing else ever happens with show or with my
right?
show, I should say, or our show, is the friends we've made cannot be replaced. The
No,
friendships that are made in our YouTube communities, and especially when you get out to an event like Ozarks or Oki or Rendezvous, which is
or
coming up,
coming up, yeah.
um, and you see those people, you see them in person to where you may have only met them there. It is so valuable beyond anything that I can even have words to say, except for those who've been there. They know what we're talking about. And people
Oh,
say, why should
100%.
I go to one of these events whenever I can just watch it on YouTube?
Right.
What would you say
Yeah.
to that, bro?
Oh man, it's a yes you can, and I mean that's one of the things we provide the content we do, you know, um, to let y'all enjoy a little bit of it when you can't make it. We understand. I mean we can't make every event, and we can't make every event we would like to make. It's you know pesky jobs get in the way. Finding life things go on. You can't be every event, but
Bro, you can't
there.
time for a job.
Well, right, I ain't got time for a job, but yeah, here I am. Um, and but but no, there's just something different in the experience. There's something that you can't, the connection, the handshake, the hug, you know, you know.
Yeah.
when you see somebody, you know, and you know it's somebody you see and you hadn't seen in a while, whatever, and you get the hug or the bro hug if it's a guy, and you know,
Yeah.
and maybe even an unexpected one, you know, where a relationship has been somebody you met once, but then that relationship gets solidified, you know,
Yeah.
uh, and I think about I you know getting to sit down with our friend Hank Reed with Natural Grandma, you know. And that is, that's only the second time. I mean, we've met Natural Grandma, the company,
Yeah.
a few times, but his people that work with him and stuff. But to meet Hank, we've only met Hank twice, but it's like a long lost friend. I can sit there and we can just chat and conversate, and you know, it's like somebody I've known my whole life, and and there's many other people that have that it's that way, and that's what you get. That's the solidification of community that comes when you're able to meet in person, and uh, and when you go beyond the interviews or you go beyond the presentations, and especially if you get the opportunity to know the person, you know,
Right.
I will say that that's one thing I will say is that as in this time we've been doing it, generally speaking, I mean, I'm sure there's an exception somewhere or somebody, and I'm choosing not to think about it, but but generally speaking, they're who they are on that camera, or they're who they
Yeah.
are on that stage, you know, and that's who they are, you know.
Well, on the other
And
hand, on the other hand, the people who have a channel and a reputation out there, they've always got they generally, you'll find that there's a couple of different types of people. One who is trying to stay in the lane, and then you have others
right,
that are, they don't care whether they're
right,
in a lane or not lane. They're just going to speak their mind. And so
right,
you get two different types of interviews there,
right. You
you
really
know.
do, and depending on where you get, and our experience as interviewers, as people who that's what we do, um, you know, you can interview and I won't get into who or whatever, but you know, one experience in one place and a total different experience in another place,
Oh, yeah,
based on their comfort level where they're at, you
that's
know,
true. That's really
and
true.
you know, uh, good morning, Code Shane Cody, and yeah, Scotty, Hank all the time. Yes, he's our closer. And I think Hank Reed would like Hank, farm to table Hank. I think he would like him, but and Robbie, yeah, meeting Terry in person, the Terry you see when we're hanging out on YouTube and he comes on with us, that's the same Terry you're going to meet in
Yeah,
person.
he's one of those
Uh,
guys. He's the
you
same
know,
online as he is offline. I mean, there's
right,
just
and we've
distinct.
enjoyed we enjoyed getting to meet Terry the first time, and and quick friendship, you know, real quick, and uh, you know, super smart guy, super personable, and just yeah. So
Don't tell
yeah,
him we said so.
yeah, yeah. I know. I don't know where he's at. I mean, he's out creeping. I know what it is. See, we was off for 2 weeks, and I guess I'm off too.
No,
uh,
I bet he had something to do. That's
no,
just
I'm sure. Well, he might have had something to do today, and I don't know. Notifications. I don't know. You never know. I mean, it's
listen.
he
You
might be
know,
out fishing.
even Robbie was in Walmart when he caught us.
I know, right,
Or
right.
not.
So I
So
mean,
people got
but
lives.
hey,
It's too early to
but
have a
yeah.
life.
Well, but yeah, that the whys of those events. I mean, and there's the vendors and and we've got vendors that we see, recurring when we go to different events, and so those have become people that we see, and we see them there at different ones, and it's all uh, and so that there's that aspect as well, and then the speakers and presenters, and of course the event host and stuff, the relationships there, and
So
and it just becomes that thing,
yeah. So let's move on through some of the people that we got
Okay.
to interview at Ozarks.
Oh
Get into
man.
Rhonda.
Yeah.
Um, so
Okay.
um, as everybody knows that follows living traditions, Kevin and Sarah, we got to get back with Kevin and Sarah, and they have put their channel on hiatus because they've kind of turned the page in their lives. So we wanted to catch up with Kevin and Sarah from Living Traditions,
Living.
and just find out what's their life like right now. What was the what was the reason behind their decision to put it on hiatus for a while? And so that's something you guys should look forward to
Right.
see that. And if you guys are
Yep.
familiar with Kevin and Sarah, you'll see that Kevin has changed a little. He's definitely
Yeah.
relaxed, and
He
that's
did.
what the
He,
new vibe is.
it was quite a, yeah, quite a yeah. Uh, hey,
Yeah,
who are you, kind of thing, But yeah,
right.
but no,
So
and
you
and I
guys,
will be honest with you. We met. Well, I'll say this: we met Sarah last year, first time meeting them, and and then we met
rough, rough patch
reconnecting.
guys.
Yeah, I'm in it. It's reconnecting. Yeah,
You're in a spot, bro.
come on. Uh, I was afraid of that when I got here.
So anyway, I'll continue till you get out of your
Can you hear
spot.
me? Can
Um,
you hear me?
but
Oh
but you
no.
guys
And
know
we
Kevin
back.
and
Hey,
Sarah.
woo, we're back.
There you go. All right. So anyway, if you
Oh
guys
man,
know
I'm a
Kevin and
chopping.
Sarah,
I'm struggling
you
with
know,
signal.
okay. So if you guys are into living traditions and want to know a little bit more behind the scenes of what was going on with Kevin and Sarah from Living Traditions, then go out, and look at that one whenever we release it. We're going through things one at a time, and we're kind of going through them slow
Yep.
because we want to release them with some new information
Yeah.
that we've gotten with algorithms and that sort of thing. Trying to work within some of the new information. But anyway, so that was
Right.
Kevin and Sarah with Living
Yep.
Traditions. But we also got to speak with John Moody. Now, you guys may or may not
Yes. And
know John Moody, but he's with Rogue Conference, and he is a partner with Joel Salatin in that endeavor. Now,
yep.
listen, this is a guy that don't mince words. He is what you see is what you get. And whenever he starts talking about a topic, whether it's political or not, no holds barred, you're going to get what he really thinks. And
Yep.
he's been a warrior in the trenches for quite a
For a long
while.
time. Long time.
He has been in that crucible of fire. Okay, so
Right.
this is one that you guys should check out. Now, the topics that we kind of covered is government overreach, and it's something as simple as we're just trying to feed our family with food that we choose,
Right.
and we should be able to, as grown adults, to eat what we want, and we should be
Yep.
able to get that from our neighbor if we want to,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
so um, and of course there is some overreaching things, and not only what's happened to him in the past, but we bring it up to what's currently
Kind of.
happening today, both in Kentucky and Florida. And I'm going to
Yeah.
leave it right there
Yep.
and let you guys look forward
Have
to
to
that.
wait.
That'll be the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, like I said, this was our second time. We met him at Rogue, and so but it was our first time to get to sit down and
yeah.
talk to him on the set from an interview perspective. And I will tell you, it was. All I'm going to tell you is that when he first said he would come down, he said, "I only got this amount of time," and we blew through that roadblock like
Oh yeah,
nobody's
absolutely.
business. But and I'll tell you now, moving on from him, we got to sit down with Dr. Patrick Jones,
Hey, that was a
and that
good
was
interview. I was
for
looking forward to that.
that.
Let me
Yeah,
back up and
and
say some. Can I say something
yeah,
about Dr. Jones to kind of
uh,
set the stage for Dr. Jones? So I had heard about him. Actually, it was through Greg Duncan, our Greg Duncan, Duncan Family Farms, who said, check this guy out. Um, and um, and so we were looking forward to it. So we caught up with him at Oki, and he was going to give an interview at Oki. And let me tell you, after this man spoke, I don't want to compare him to Jesus, but it was that's the first thing that came to my mind. Not that he's our savior. That's not what my point is. It's just that he is in the business of healing people. All right.
Yep.
And so the lines after that was so long. He just said, "Hey guys, contact me. I'll either come on your show or we'll catch up at Ozarks." Well, we chose Ozarks to catch up with him at, and
Yep.
it, again, we got him at the right time, but it was raining outside, and so we were going to kind of do it up at the at our set, and it was just so noisy at our set. He said, "Well, let's go down to my tent." So we went down to his tent, and it started raining. So we just huddled up in a little real close little thing inside of his tent. Go ahead, bro. Oh, okay, he's muting. So anyway, and
Yeah.
we got to
Y'all
get
didn't
the
need to hear
interview.
that.
A very interesting guy, and he's funny. If anybody's ever watched, or if you've never watched Dr. Patrick Jones, go out and give him check him out. He is smart. He's funny, and he's the same. He's the
Oh
exact
yeah.
same as you see on TV too. And and we tried to broach some topics and everything, and he kind of brings a very balanced
Yeah.
perspective to, because we wanted to know, what's the difference of pharmaceutical versus herbal. And
Yeah.
so go out and
Bro,
check
I'm
out. Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. You got to get
Well, I was
out.
gonna say I got to step out. I'll be back in, but I'm gonna be listening and talking. So yeah.
Okay, that sounds
So
good. All
yeah.
right. Man got to work. Man got to eat.
Yep.
So, um, so go out and check this one out when we release it, because he's going to answer that question. And I thought that his answer to that question was really, really important and really balanced in the way that he talked about it. And let me just kind of preface this. He's got two doctors in his family. He is a veterinarian. He's got two doctors and a lawyer just in case in his family.
Yeah. Uh, I love that part of that. That so many doctors, but they one had to go be a lawyer so they could.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good combination of things. But anyway,
Right.
and as a little side note, we also recorded. I've got tinnitus in my ears, and um, he's got a partner over there whose name is Jed, and
Yeah.
Jed.
Tell you a story about a man named Jed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you're worried about a man named Jed, but
Yeah.
anyway, they've got these tuning forks that they use. Now, Ryan's story, he told me about it 'cause he got it done last or at Oki earlier this year, but he had feet problems. And probably Ryan should be the better one to tell you about that.
Right. Well, I will tell you this. What Jed does is called auricular therapy. Is what it's called. But sometimes they use electrical impulses, but he uses tuning forks. And yeah, at Oki, right before Oki, probably a couple of weeks before, I started having severe pain in my feet. It was where it was almost impossible to walk. Uh, and I was trying every kind of shoe I could find and trying to get stuff. And we get to Oki, and I am in so much pain. I'm grunting through it. I mean, that's all it was. And I'm wearing Crocs, high-dollar pair of Crocs just to try to be able to tolerate. I had 3 or 4 pairs of shoes to rotate so that I could just keep changing shoes, and I was barely walking around. And I met uh, Jed, uh, and was there talking with Dr. Jones, in fact, and then was and they were telling me about it, and I said I'm game. I'm willing to try anything at this point. And anyway, so he sat down and he did this therapy with the tuning forks on my ears. There was near instant relief. It was still hurting, but nowhere near as bad as it had been. And uh, was able to tolerate the rest of the weekend and got through. The next day it was better, and the next week, and I have been now. That was from March to September, and the only pain I have in my feet now is just what would be normal fatigue, normal pain from being on your feet all day. And so it does work. I can attest to that. So,
Yeah. So Ryan had talked about it since that time, and I was like, really, it's one of those things. It just seems really hokey, right? And so,
yeah.
um, and I like I said, I have tinnitus, and I went over there, and of course I asked Dr. Jones about it. He said, go over and see Jed. So I went over to see Jed and sat down in the chair, and Ryan recorded it.
Okay.
And it's mostly boring because you're just sitting there. But I'll try to speed it up a little bit. But anyway, what was going on there is he said, now tinnitus is one of those things that's extremely difficult. It is a nerve problem, but he likes to
Nerve.
work on it. He said you probably
Yeah.
need, several sessions of that to see a big difference. But what I will tell you about what happened while I was sitting in that chair is I became so relaxed, and I can't explain it except for to say that those vibrations, wherever he was putting that, those vibrations was dealing with nerve endings, and it was in the brain. Okay, so the fact that it worked as a almost a sedative effect, you know, was amazing to me. And apparently, a lot of people report that that's exactly what happens. And so, uh, I just want to shout out to David Lacey. He came in under police stories. Let's get
Yeah.
started. Good
Yeah.
morning,
Good
David
morning,
Lacey.
David.
Good to see you,
Yeah.
man.
Yes. Yeah. I
Um,
was thinking about
so,
David the other day. I don't know. Something
yeah,
came
I
up. It was.
KCB. I kind of think, oh, I wonder how they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
David Lacey with
Yeah.
uh, again police
Glory
stories.
Hill.
Let's get started in
Yeah.
Glory Hills. Yeah,
Hills Homestead. Yeah.
yeah. And so anyway, so that was an interesting one. We'll put that out later. It's not really on the top of our list to put that particular one out, but moving on down the list, I just want to quickly mention. Um, I just want to quickly mention that we seen Clyde again, and he wanted to talk about fall gardening. And of course, we do have some garden planters to give away later. Okay, not
Yep.
later today, but later, later.
Um,
Okay, so we will do.
Probably. I'm thinking probably at. I'm thinking, bro. We hadn't talked about it, but I'm thinking maybe like at Rondo.
That's a possibility.
Maybe
We can
with
talk
something to give
about
away
that.
down there.
So
Yeah.
if you want to be a part of that
Yeah.
giveaway, be
Yeah.
sure to show up at the Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, which is
Oklahoma.
going to be on the 26th and
Yeah.
27th. And I think they
Yeah.
start at what time, by the way?
9 a.m. Goes from 9 to 6.
9 to 6. Okay, 9 to 6, guys.
Yep.
Anyway, and the tickets are extremely reasonable. They're $15 a person. And if you know anything about homestead events, you know that that is quite cheap. But anyway, we got a full large floor full of people, and people even outside as far as vendors and things to see, and demonstrations going on, and a good lineup of speakers. Highly expert
Oh yeah.
and the speakership. But we'll get into
Yeah.
that in a minute. Let's go ahead and try. And before we do, it just says I just want to say that David said you guys are awesome people, and I wish y'all the best. I appreciate it. Are you saying goodbye to us, man? You're breaking my heart, David. Come
David.
on.
I should say. Kind of sounds like you're breaking up with us, man.
It's like, is this a soft breakup
No.
or what? Anyway,
Yeah.
um, so and then I
Yeah.
also
What I'm
want
saying.
to.
It's not you. It's me. No. I mean, whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. So okay, so I got you. I got your message, David. I got you. So anyway, I have tinnitus due to my
Okay.
younger years as sound tech and musical groups. I don't know exactly where mine came from, but I had a couple things. I had a 45. We were at a shooting range, and I took my air protection off, and a guy with a 45 over in the next, oh, to the left of me, started rattling his off. And I lost a little bit of my hearing there, and so my left ear is pretty messed up. And then I was a drummer, so I am a drummer, but I don't drum much anymore. But yeah, I totally understand. So getting back into
Sorry to say, bro. Yeah, years of, yeah, years of what you did, yeah,
yeah, so I
with
mean, I'm not
music.
surprised that it's
But
that way, but
yeah,
it's a nerve thing. I used to think it's an air damage thing, but it's not. It's actually a nerve thing in the head. However, however, uh, um, hold on just a minute. Uh, however, um, getting back to who we sat down with there, we got to talk to. Um, Gosh, we talked to what? We had 10 interviews, I think is what it was. Isn't that what it?
we had a total of 10. Of course, Bo Brown.
Bo
That
Brown.
was
That's
another
right.
one we got to sit down with.
And what's it's foraging in the Ozarks is what he was talking.
Foraging in the Ozarks and Foraging in the Central Grasslands are his two
Okay, so
books.
those are books that he
So
has out there, and so we got to sit down with him. Of course, we got to sit down again with Joel Salatin,
yes,
and
very very different interview
right, and
that I had with
and what
Joel.
I'll say to what was it that he said twice that made everybody crack up on set?
Oh,
Yeah, he
oligarchy.
said you got to stop the oligarchy,
Stop, gotta stop the
and you guys can
oligarchy.
kind of
Just like that, by the
yeah.
way. Yeah.
And of course, who he was talking about was who?
Mittens. Yeah. Anyway,
Who was he?
mittens.
Who was he talking
Bernie
about?
Sanders.
Bernie.
Bernie
It was
Sanders.
Bernie.
But yeah,
You
mittens.
got to stop the oligarchy.
But
You got to stop the
uh,
oligarchy. Anyway, so anyway,
yeah.
we were
I got to step out. I'll
okay.
be right
That's all
back.
right. I'll keep it
So,
rolling. So anyway, and then we had several others after that, and one other one that I want to talk to you guys about is that for those of you who are into field dressing and that sort of thing, Luke Doherty. Luke Doherty. We got an interview with young Luke Doherty. Now you say, well, I've heard the last name Doherty a lot. Who are you talking about? Well, we're talking about the son of Sean and Beth. Okay. The son of Sean and Beth, Luke Doherty, has come out with a trailer. And we wanted to interview him with that because um, Brandon, oh goodness, Sherd. Brandon Sherd, there he shows you full from all the way through the dispatching at the rendezvous, or not at the rendezvous, but at Ozarks at the expo. He used Luke's trailer to do that. And I thought that was the most ingenious thing that he did. So, that I've seen as far as new technology and that sort of thing. You could pull it up you could take it with you deer hunting if you want to, and you can just completely, you know, get through the the dispatch all the way through, and then storage of the animal right there on set or on scene. And so that was a really unique thing, and we got that. I think you guys ought to check that out. You might actually, get on board and like what he's got going on there. But bro, I'm going to move on from that because we're already setting it almost 15 minutes till, and I still want to get into what's upcoming at Rendezvous.
yes, very excited. Very excited about that. Looking forward to it. And yeah, I mean, listen, there's we could spend all day talking about those interviews at Ozarks, and y'all guys are going to get to see those and
Right.
uh, coming out, over the next few, I'd say, probably a few weeks, and
Few
uh,
weeks. Yeah.
yeah. But the yeah, Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous. Listen, and it's very, this was always probably a challenging season for Keith and I because we have to switch gears so fast.
Yeah.
Um, and still working through and processing everything that we experienced one and having to go to the other. But Yeah, absolutely looking forward to getting to go to McAllister and hang out with our friends down there, and you know what that's going to entail that weekend of man, speakers and presenters and demonstrators and music and food and uh, just generally a good time. And that was I mean, the heart of rendezvous anyway is the fellowship and the gathering and yeah, the trading and the sharing, bartering, sharing of knowledge and people hadn't seen each other for a long period of time or a period of time, and so there was all of that, and so it's right in that spirit. But hey, Terry is. We'll have to watch on replay. Take care, y'all. Well, hi. Glad you jumped in. And
There's,
yeah,
I told you he was
yeah,
busy.
glad you jumped in for the minute you were there. But anyway, but yeah, and listen, I'm just gonna start this off. Um, it's real easy to kind of maybe just dismiss something. What would maybe by numerics be considered a smaller event. You know, um, but I had a conversation with someone about the line, about rendezvous. We were, pretty good conversation the other day, and they looked at the lineup and were very complimentary of the lineup that was there, of speakers and presenters, and she was very complimentary of the caliber that we had of speakers there, and the topics, the range of topics that were being discussed. And, I don't know that she would have a problem. I don't know, bro, if I should say who, but uh,
I, I think what I would do is I'm just saying somebody who is a high level
very
organizer.
influential within the homesteading community. But I'll leave that there for now because I didn't have permission to share anything in that conversation.
Right.
But be prepared to learn there. And I see Meg's Little House in the Country. Usually listen to the replay. Happy I could catch you live today. Well, we're happy you're in too. Happy you're able to join us. And you know, typically 7 to 8 ish on Saturday mornings. We're here live. So and usually we have a guest on, but we didn't do that this week. As you can see, I'm working, so it's a little different. But anyway, talking about Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous coming up. We were having discussions, this week with Chris Thompson, the founder of that event, and very excited about you know the people that are coming, the vendor space, and things that are going to be inside the vendor space, and you know how that's going to work out and what that's looking like, and of course the speakers and presenters are going to be uh, a wide range of subjects. I mean, when you start talking Dwayne Hall, you start talking Monty Shrunk, you start talking Bob Ryder, Olive Branch Aquaponics. Um, Let me see, I'm just going off the top of my head here. Brian Danger DeShazo with Okie Farm and Hatchery. I know Stuart and Ashley, one of the two or both from Restoration Farms, and there's some
Leon,
others. Leon,
right?
yes. I don't know how I
Gardening.
missed on that one. Leon Sloan, Gardening with Leon, yes. And you know,
Jack and
um,
Dina Dyer.
Jack and Dina Dyer are going to be there doing their presentations. And man, there's some others there that are slipping my brain right off the top of my head. But anyway, lots of good presentations, and a better setup we think this year, and the way the schedule is spaced and that type of thing. And of course, uh, myself, and I'll put myself on the bottom of that list, but we'll be speaking as well a few times over the weekend, and so. Super excited, looking forward to that, and getting to hang out. And of course, I mean, lots of people that are coming over there, like the Wild Huckleberry, and some
Yeah,
others that are coming there as volunteers. So there's going to be a lot of, and we need volunteers. So listen,
we
that's
do.
that's a great way to get to experience an event and build relationships is to be a volunteer. Um, It's not like you got to work the whole 2 days the whole time you're there. I mean, certainly if you want to, they're not going to stop you, but but it comes, with admission. It comes with a T-shirt and a meal for the, time that you're there. I think it's 4 hour rotation or something like that. I think I'm not 100%, but you can, reach out to Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous on Facebook, and you know, get information about that. But if you're interested, I know that's what, like I said, Robbie and them are doing. And I know Sonia is setting up her vendor booth for her side hustle there as well. And so they're going to be vendor and volunteer. So going to have a lot going on there. And so, yeah,
And
if you're at all able to make it, I encourage it. It's the level
right,
of learning that's there is second to. I mean, I don't it. I won't poo-poo it in any way, shape, or form when I say this. That
right,
you might not recognize some of the names because maybe they're not that YouTuber or that legend person that's been around for 40 years doing this, but the knowledge is there, the skill is there, the information is there, and you're going to get quality information. So to me, that's
right.
uh,
So for the knowledge seekers, this is an event that you don't want to miss. Uh,
yeah,
like he said, it may not be these big name, one that's a high level marquee or whatever like that. That has nothing to do with the information you're going to receive. It
right,
has these people are chosen because their expertise is in a certain field. Okay.
right.
And let me say that, and it's not that everybody that I'm talking about, but you guys know Monty Shrunk. And I can tell you that he was talking to a packed out house in Ozarks. Okay.
I guarantee
People
it. These are, yeah,
were packed out into those tents, listening,
absolutely.
to Monty,
Uh,
and Bob Ryder had a good showing up there. And
Bob,
so,
and
uh,
and
of
so
course,
did Dwayne.
and
You know,
Dwayne, right? And
Dwayne said they were. He had two things. He was in a tent presenting, and then they had their Goat Education Center.
right.
And he said that's the busiest he's ever been. Good morning, Greg and Donna, Duncan Family Farm. Glad to have you in, guys. Um, the that was the big. He said that's the busiest he's ever been at one of those. They were covered up, and he also he shared with me about the tent presentation. He was up against in a speaker block up against Joel Salatin,
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
and he still had half a tent.
Right. And you
And
guys know you don't want to go head to head with Joel Salatin and the
I mean it's got to be
it's
somebody that's confident, and it's got to be somebody that has a subject people want to hear,
right.
and and so he was very happy with that.
Oh
That
yeah.
given that that he had that many people, he was shocked. But yeah, walking by Monty Schrunk's tent when he was presenting, and it was standing room only.
Right.
Um,
So,
you know,
the main point of all of that is that, listen, these
these are
speakers
sought after
are
speakers.
top-notch speakers, okay?
Yep.
And they are becoming top, and they're sought after. Dwayne Hall is national level speaker. He may not
Mm.
have the name recognition of the higher people, but let me tell you, you're not going to be starved for information when you go to Oklahoma.
Mm-mm.
They're bringing it, okay? They're bringing
Right.
it. It's going to be there. And if you guys miss it, well, you missed it. It's
Yeah.
so, but let's talk a little bit about the children. Let's
Um,
talk about what
yeah.
children can expect there.
Well, and we have two events that we know for a fact are going to be there. One, they're going to have pony rides.
Pony
Um,
rides.
so that's always fun for kids. And there's going to be a bounce house.
Right.
And this year, those are going to be set up in the main
Door.
facility, in the indoors, in the main event facility. So regardless of the wind, or
Right.
regardless of the rain, or lack thereof, or the heat, or whatever it happens to be, that weekend, those two things are going to be indoors. So there's plenty of activity there for the kids to keep them entertained and have a good time as well. And a broad list of vendors. A lot of different things. I'm looking forward to our friend Kane Riggs being down, and
Yeah.
Men of Purpose Knives coming
Yeah.
down there. And so, if you're into collector or high quality, even if you're not using it as a collection, you want to use high quality knives that support a great purpose and a great cause.
from
Then
633 recovery.
from 633 Recovery, and our friends there, and um, quality handmade knives. Um, and if you're a knife collector and you're into knives, you understand these are not these are not $10 Walmart break and throw away knives. And but they're high end knives. But they're coming down. The ladies are coming down with their candles. Yes, actually, Scotty, I do like a good bounce house. I have a bounce house in my own property. So yes, I'm a big fan. We have a bounce house at our church. I'm a big fan of bounce houses. Yes,
So
but
I thought maybe he got bounced around enough in that truck that he didn't want any more bouncing around, but
it's a different kind of bounce, and I
it is.
really enjoy watching others more than myself. I'm over it, but I enjoy. My grandkids love it. I can tell you that. So anyway,
Yeah.
um,
So, and just another mention of gardening with Leon. You guys know that gardening with Leon is going to bring some good information, and
oh man, solid.
he loves his
Yeah.
Bible study. If you guys
Yes.
don't know Leon,
Yeah.
but
Um, Leon
that
is a solid dude. Him and his wife are a solid couple, and you're going to get great information on
yeah,
wicking tubs and his methods and that type of thing. So definitely,
right. So if you guys are gardeners, you don't want to miss Leon live. Okay,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That almost sounds like an album,
Leon
Leon.
live.
Out
He'd
there.
probably laugh at that. Yeah.
Anyway,
You know.
so I hate to turn it toward something a little bleak. We're about 5 minutes out, but
Yeah.
I did
Yeah,
want to
man.
give a little bit of time, to talking a little bit about a national treasure that we lost this week, um,
Right.
and um, it was one of those things. I've heard, we've heard tragic things and tragic losses, that unfortunately is not uncommon. It wasn't very long ago that a Catholic church was, you know, attacked. I guess I'll just leave it at that. But this, and who I'm talking about is Charlie Kirk. And for anybody who pays attention to what's going on and what's going on into America, in America right now.
Right.
It seems to me that we've got such a divide in America, and it's such a senseless thing. And anybody who profits from dividing people for whatever reason, whether it's for politics or if it's for profit or whatever their particular motive is, shame on you. Shame on you for participating in that. And I'm not taking sides because there's political mudslinging that goes on and always has. This is not new. Okay. It's not like we've reached, some kind of a pinnacle here that's never happened before. That's not true.
Right.
Uh, um, but it is extremely tragic what happened. And when I say that there's a nation in mourning, I can tell
Yeah.
you that that affected me and Ryan in such a way that I was asking myself, I was actually trying to take a nap because we had just gotten back from Ozarks a few days, and during the middle of the day, I'll try to take a little nap. But my son Daniel came in and said, "Dad, do you know Charlie Kirk?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "He just got shot," and showed me a picture. And you cannot unsee what he showed me. You cannot unsee it. I don't want to look at it again. Several people were showing that graphic shot, and every time I would see it, I would turn my phone away. I don't want to see that again. I was so affected by the only way I can describe it, it was like I went into mourning just like you would with a family member. Okay. And that was a gut punch for me and Ryan both. And as a matter of fact, it was a gut punch to my son Josh, who some of you guys know, who's been on the show. Um, and he called me up, and I said, "I know already, son. I know. I knew why he called. You know." I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "I'm mad. I'm really mad." And so some people met it with anger. I think I met it with anger and heartbreak, and I was mourning not just for the wife and the children Charlie, I was mourning for America that we can't have civil discourse without people taking it to this kind of a degree. One of the things Charlie was known by is going to campuses all over the world, places that people from on the right generally are not welcomed, in the higher learning centers, because it's just been it's almost like a propaganda uh, uh, environment there. People go in one way, they come out a different way, and some people were saying that they were just simply educated on the facts. Well, the fact is that
I don't know.
he would go there, and on his tent it always says, prove me wrong. In other words, I'm coming here to talk to you, and I'm giving you a chance to prove my viewpoints wrong. Okay, so he was very well known for that. He is from Turning Point USA. He was the founder, and Candace Owens, for those of you who know Candace Owens, was there in those early years with him, and a lot of those roots back in the early 2000s began to grow there. And a lot of seeing the things that you see here, they were an offshoot of Rush Limbaugh. And of those of you who knew Rush Limbaugh,
Yeah,
um, um, that's one of the highest compliments I think that Rush could have had, to know that there were so many people, so many uh, thinkers out there who actually took the mantle up, you know,
right.
and certainly Charlie Kirk was right at the top level of one of those people. Now, um, um, you guys knew, what happened,
Yeah,
and
right.
I'll just go ahead and put this up here. Just think how many people won't be
Yeah,
touched by what you had to say. And yeah, Robbie, that's exactly right. But I have a good feeling
right.
that people, what did I hear say? Excuse me. What did I hear so many people saying? We're all Charlie Kirk now. Okay. That doesn't mean that I'm going to
Yeah,
change the direction of our channel to do what Charlie Kirk did. But I have a feeling that that it's going to have the opposite effect than those who were cheering after what happened to him, which is
yeah,
a national tragedy. And
hmm,
folks, let me just say this: did it hurt my heart to see it? It does. Um, and and I always pray that I would see things through the eyes of Christ whenever something like that. Well, every day actually, and spending time, in the Spirit with Christ, in His presence, and in the Word is the only way
hmm,
that that sort of thing can happen. And as more you spend time in the presence of God, the more I believe that you will see things through the eyes of Christ. And I want
right.
to say that we all need to endeavor to see these things in a proper way, and to
Yeah,
get in touch with God when these things happen. We don't know why, you know. I'm not saying that God chose this particular thing to happen to him, but what I will say is that there's always a reason. What I've seen so far
yeah,
come out of what's happened is that the solidarity of many people just got stronger,
yeah,
and I hope that it
yeah,
leads to peace.
yeah. I wanted to read
Yeah,
something real quick, bro. Um, and this when I read this, and I'll tell who wrote it at the end. But when I read this, it really summed up and how why it mean. And good morning, Cheryl. Ozarks Homesteading. Good to see you there. Um, and you're right. we are, bro, if you can share, I can't share stuff over here. We're all devastated and mourning, but can't wait to see how God uses this for big revival. Time is short and people need to hear the gospel. 100% agree with that. But this, when I read this just really, it brought home to me why, bro. We talked about so much about how this affected us in mourning, and and how deeply it affected people. And I'm going to try to bring this up. Hopefully, it don't lose me, but I don't have it set up to share, so I'm just going to have to read it. Um, and let's see if I can hang with you. Okay. Good morning. The reason you feel Charlie's death so deeply is because grief doesn't measure itself by proximity, it measures itself by meaning. You didn't have to know him personally to feel the sting of his absence, because when a voice like this goes silent, something in the atmosphere shifts. The reason it feels heavier than so many other tragedies is because your spirit recognizes that this is not just about a man, it's about a battle. Scripture says eternity is written on our hearts, and when someone who carried the truth with boldness is suddenly gone, eternity aches within us. It's like our souls know instinctively that the darkness celebrated, and that strikes us at the core. The reason you can't shake it is because psychologically, we don't only attach ourselves to people, we attach ourselves to symbols. Charlie became a symbol of conviction in a time of compromise, courage in a time of fear. And when a symbol is struck down, it rattles something primal and eternal inside us. That's why even those who never met him feel it. There's a strange thread pulling at us, and it is not imagined, it is real. We are bound together by shared purpose, by shared longing for truth, by the Spirit of God, Himself weaving us into a fabric that cannot be torn apart. This loss pulled at that fabric, and every one of us felt the tug. So if you've wondered why this hits so hard, it's because your soul knows this is bigger than news, this is bigger than politics. This is about eternity, about truth, and about the weight of a man whose life carried both. That was from Chad Prather.
Prather.
And when I read that, it summed up so succinctly what I had been feeling since Wednesday afternoon, and why I felt like the way I did, and why I still feel the way I do. And I've got to go stand in a pulpit tomorrow morning and preach to my congregation. And I had a lesson planned. I had what I was going to talk about planned. We've been in a series, and I told Cindy, I told my wife last night, I can't do that. You know, um, and I really still don't 100% know what I'm going to say, but I know that the core of that message that I just read has got to be at the center of it. That our spirits are torn because we're all connected that way. The believers are connected that way, you know. And Charlie asked one thing, which was if he could be remembered, which was his courage of his faith. And we've heard that said a lot this last few days. And another pastor that I follow um, said that he said Charlie evangelized to more people than most ever do, you know, and he never hid his faith, and he was able to defend his faith articulately. He always had the ready answer, and I just think that that's why that summed up for me why we have missed why this hurt so differently. Uh, and thank you, Rebecca. And yes, it always has to be the Lord leading, and always does. But um, and thank you, David. Thank you. Uh, but and it's we're called to pray for our enemies. We're called to bless those who persecute us, and those who curse us. You know, which is my number one scripture to know that the Bible was not written. It might have been penned by men, but it was not written by men because no man would come up with that. Oh yeah, and you know, so we do need to be in prayer for Charlie and his family, his close friends, those who feel his loss more closely. But most importantly, we need to be in prayer for our nation, for our country. And I'm sure we'll learn more about the person who did this. But you know, we have a choice right now, and that choice is um, we can respond in hate and anger and go into, some say, a civil war. Um, um, but I don't think that's, as somebody who's been to combat, that's never the answer. Combat and war is the ultimate failure of civilization, in my opinion. Um, and so when we're able to use words and use uh, ideas and dialogue and discussion with those we disagree with and show love to that, you know, I will tell you that, uh, I'm not going to go too far, but my son in law was trapped in a lot of the lies that our society has. And through love, he overcame that. Through God's love. And through this event, he's wanting to get his life right with the Lord. That's the answer to what ails us today. And yes, Rebecca, we do need to pray for that young man, and we do need to pray for his family, you know, um, because they are hurting too, you know. And
Your microphone, bro, is off.
yeah, sorry, I bumped.
There you go.
Anyway, we do need to pray for that person, and we need to pray for his family because they are hurting too. And I feel that so many of our young people and so many of these people who commit these heinous crimes, they believe the lies. They believe the lies of the devil and of that culture and of those people who perpetrate that. And so we definitely need to be um, praying for them because, you know, uh, as hard as that may be, to do, um, and that we pray for them. But, those who celebrate, Robbie put that up there, those who celebrate, those who uh, do these things and celebrate them need our prayers too, and that's a hard thing to do, but it is what we're called to do. Yeah. Now, something that another person shared this week is while we are called to pray for them and we need to pray for them in our country, we're not, we're not told to stand idly by and say nothing, and which is why we felt the need to bring this up this morning, I think, and to share this and to just share with y'all and you know, this time and how much it affected us, and um, you know, had to spend a couple of days taking a lot of stock in what is the future of the Farm to Table Show, or what is the future of this effort and this message, and uh, you know, in listening to some others and things like I read you there from Chad Prather, um, you know, the cry of the message has to go forward. Um, we can't be the generations, and I say generations because there's multiple generations represented here. We can't be the generations that drop the ball. So that's just my thoughts on it. But and uh, thank you for the comments in the comment block, the comments of support, and um, for prayers. And Yes, Scotty, even for hashtag Pastor Tabler. Uh, I know I'm not the only man of faith and person who preaches that's in our chat or in our group and families by any definition. But, um, you know, Keith mentioned about praying to see people as Jesus sees them, and I will tell you that's a challenge at times. It's a very heavy challenge. But it's a prayer I'm glad I've prayed, and it's a prayer that, allows me to see this young man that did this. Yes, it's a vile act, and I hate it, but I don't hate him, and I see him as a soul. I see him as somebody that God would want to have redeemed, and um, that's I never used to understand how people could forgive somebody who had done something
Yes.
so heinous, but I understand now. And Rebecca said, "My generation is baby boomers. We all need to come together." Yeah, 100%. And this generation that Charlie affected, particularly this 30 and under, maybe mid 30s and under generation, that he has so much impact on. Um, you know, that is our greatest outside of Jesus Christ, who is our only true hope, but and our only truth. But that generation, those hundreds of, those thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands that he reached, millions even that he reached, um, that is our best, brightest hope for America going forward. Now, without Jesus, without Christ, it's pointless. Um, Solomon, Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes that it's all vanity. It's all for nothing without Christ, without God. And I believe that. And so, I'm gonna get off the pulpit today. Y'all might have got a snippet of the of the sermon tomorrow. I don't know. But
So sounds like so.
yeah,
I know we went quite a bit over time,
yeah.
and
But
that I would just implore everybody to spend more time in the presence of Christ, in the
yeah,
presence of God in spirit, and walk by the Spirit. The mindset upon the Spirit is life and peace. And
yeah,
as we spend more time with Him, He will put more of Himself into our being
mm,
so that we can see things through His eyes more and more.
mm,
I happen to think that if you know, that the young man who did this, if he would have had Christ in his life and in his being, it would never have happened.
right.
Not
It's a
saying
fact.
talking about his salvation. What I'm talking about is the spirit that was
Yeah,
in him. Apparently, didn't well. His being did not have enough Christ, or it would not have done that. So,
right. Yeah. But um, and so wrapping that subject there. Let's try to end this on a more upbeat tone.
okay,
That hey, we are. Listen, today is the 13th day of September, and Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous starts on the 26th. So
that's
we are
right.
that would be 13 days if my math is even remotely good anymore, or 12 and a wake up, or however you want to count that. But we will be down on that Thursday, along with the vendors and others setting up, and looking forward to being there. Mr. P is going to be down there with us, helping us do things, and uh, maybe even a surprise crew member, if you will, might join us. We'll see what happens there. Could be a surprise for everybody.
Even for me,
But
it'll be a surprise, right?
what's that?
It'll also be a surprise for us.
Yeah, right. But anyway, and like I said, there's yeah, so we'll see how it happens. But it is looking forward to that event, and looking forward to hanging out with many of the people that are some that are in the chat, and some that are not, many that are not, and hoping for a bigger It was a great year last year, hoping for a bigger year this year, and many more to come, hopefully down there. And so, I will, if you can find a way down there, even if it's just for one of the days. The tickets will be available at the door as well. And yes, Greg, thank you. God's will be done. Yes, on earth as it is in heaven, indeed. And but it's looking forward to that event. It's going to be exciting. Looking forward to speaking and talking down there. Both subjects that I have, which one is the 7 steps to self-reliance. Um, and then we'll also be talking working with alongside with Brian DeShazo, Okie Farm and Hatchery, about SB 939 and legislation, food freedom legislation, and
That
so
is Brian Danger DeShazo.
Danger DeShazo. That's right, Brian. Danger DeShazo. But anyway, the so looking forward to that as well. So yeah, going to be busy. Going to be a busy weekend, but going to be a rewarding and fun weekend as always. But
One
anyway,
of the things before we get off here, bro, I just want to say thank you uh, to Cheryl who
yeah,
puts on the event at Ozarks, for
absolutely,
doing what
100%.
she does there. And I also want to say the same thing to Chris Thompson, that thank you for doing what you do. We see your hard work out there,
Yeah,
and we really do appreciate you guys.
absolutely. Our it's so these events like this that Cheryl and Chris put on, and their staff, their volunteers, their people that work with them and help them put that together.
A lot of fun.
Um, th- this isn't a 1 week or 1 month. This is an all year thing. This is and so it takes time and manpower and resources and heart. And to do that, and so we definitely appreciate it. And I'll be honest with you, we'll still hang out with you guys if it wasn't for these events. I mean, they have directly contributed to the some of the success of this channel.
Yeah. Well, we've lost him. I don't know if we'll get him back in here or not. But anyway, it's time to wrap it up. And so I won't wrap it up as usual, but we'll see everyone and have a great day and look forward to some of the things that we're putting out because Ozarks was an amazing event this year. And we got to speak with some very interesting and knowledgeable people. And I think that you won't want to miss it. And then hopefully we'll be able to see you guys at the Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, which starts on the 26th and 27th. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the tickets are on sale there for $15 a day. And so, you know, don't that should open up the door and allow you guys to come in. And so, on behalf of me and Ryan, we thank everybody for showing up and being a part of today's show. I know it's not the normal show, but we love you guys, and we hope to see you again next week. And if we don't see you next week, we hope to see you at the rendezvous. And oh, Ryan did come on to say goodbye, so I'll just put him in here real quick. He's waving his hand in the background. Hey, put me on.
Yeah, yeah, hey, yeah. Sorry,
He said,
sitting
"Let me."
here with plenty of signal and lost signal. Boom. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. But anyway, I was just kind of wrapping it up, bro.
Yeah,
Doing our
absolutely.
little thing here, and
Okay.
so anyway, is there anything you want to say before we say the
Um,
last little blurb?
well, I don't know if you talked about next week's episode at all, but the plan for next
I
week.
I have not talked about the plan of next week.
Well, the plan of next week is the plan we had for today.
That's
Um, but if all goes well, of course, we will continue to talk about the rendezvous and the experience there. But our good friend and many of y'all's good friend, Dwayne Hall, was supposed to join us today,
mhm.
but we just circumstances that we didn't do that episode. But he is still planning, unless something weird happens, he is planning to join us next Saturday.
Right.
So we will have Dwayne Hall in with us next Saturday to talk about, well, goats and rendezvous and
I know
expos
Ozarks because he
and
had both.
Ozark. Yeah, we'll be talking about Ozarks, and we'll talk about because he had a busy, busy weekend up there. We barely had time to speak to Dwayne up there. We got a couple of bro hugs. That was we were both very busy, and so he's going
Yeah,
to come join us.
that's worth the price of a ticket just to go get a bro hug from Dwayne,
I'm
right?
telling you what, and worth the drive right there.
Yeah,
And but
kidding.
he's going to be speaking and demonstrating goat education stuff at Rendezvous, and he's also going to be uh, part of the opening ceremonies. Um, and both there at Rendezvous. So
Awesome.
because well the motto for this year is bringing the past to the present for the future, and
Bringing
that was a
past
bring
to the
to the
present
present for the
for the
future,
future. Yeah, you
and
have to
that was
that
the
say it slow.
bringing the past to the present for the future, and that was a Dwayne Hall quote at our speaker panel last year,
Right.
and so that was um, that was that's the motto for this year. And so looking forward to that. But let's get him on out of here, bro. I know people are needing to get on about their day, and see everyone later and have a great day and great discussion and whatnot. A lot of great comments. Thank you for everybody in the chat and for your comments and being a part of the conversation and everything and for the encouragement. Very much needed. So thank you. So. That is a wrap for the Farm to Table Show Saturday edition. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. Hit the like, give us a thumbs up. Hit the share button. Tell all your friends about it. If you're not already, you can subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble.
Well,
We yeah. Oh,
go ahead.
anyway, so that's where we found it. That's how we get the word out. Remember, good food starts with great people, just like you. Uh huh. Oh, okay. Bringing the past to the present for the future. Yep. There it is, Robbie. Um, and so, yeah, I guess, bro, again, hashtag stronger together, hashtag tablers unite, hashtag connect and grow, hashtag think outside the big box store shop local. And yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there'll be something else we're not hashtagging today. But anyway, so appreciate you all joining us in there, and be a blessing to someone this week. Even if it's just a smile, you might make their day right there. And you know what? Hey, tell somebody about Jesus this week. You know, tell somebody about Jesus. And y'all have a great weekend. And Lord willing, we will see you all back next Saturday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, here on the Farm to Table Show. Bro, anything?
Nope. That's
All
it.
right.
I've said
Okay. Well, enough.
way more than
Yep.
enough.
Okay. Well, here we go. As we end every episode, prepare for the unexpected and
Keep it local.
awesome. See you guys later. Hank, take us out of here.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.